Hey, so we just got here to Pelican, and they're super excited about a product they're going to be launching. It's so top secret that we don't even know what it is.
We have to sign NDAs.
Yeah. You used to be with Levi's,
Yeah.
Gibson.
Yep.
How long have you been here with Pelican?
I'm coming up on my 1 year right now.
Oh my gosh, okay.
You know, we've been pretty quiet for the last year, and for, strategically call it, we've been stealth because it takes a little while to internally transform the culture. You know, it's almost like, hey, what are we looking at? Share of plastic boxes? No, we are in the business of share of protection. So when I get to Pelican, I discovered 50 years of authenticity, of iconic relevance, of mission, millions of mission critical moments. And I'm like, we're going after share of protection. We're going to protect what you value. Instead of talking about transforming and being product centric, we built this and didn't tell anyone what we were doing.
So, JC, where did this all start?
Well, it started here in Torrance, California.
Yeah.
In 1976, this unbelievable guy, Dave Parker was his name, and he was an entrepreneur, an inventor, but his passion was diving. He developed the Pelican float, which is basically a float, hockey stick, piece of string. He would dive and put it there to say, I'm diving here, watch out. The original one was a hockey stick and like a bleach bottle or something, and then he created the Pelican float, and basically it was a safety device, and then he recognized when he had a few scrapes and scratches, he needed a first aid kit, so he developed the Pelican box, a sportsman's container, watertight, airtight, dustproof, crushproof, the exact same words we still use today on our Pelican cases. Cliche of the century from the CEO is, everyone tells the CEO to think outside of the box. And guess what this guy has to do? I think inside the box. What's going in it? What's going to be protected in it? When it comes to travel, people go, oh, wow, Pelican's getting into travel. We've been synonymous with travel for 50 years.
Yeah.
People want to travel to unique destinations and protect what they own, and most people don't think that Pelican is for them.
Yeah.
They see the cool guy at the airport, the creator, the musician, the military, and they go, whoa, they're on a mission. That's not me. I actually think everyone's on a mission, they just don't know it. So we sat there and said, if the insights are people are going to more extreme destinations, fewer things better, more expensive items that demand protection, isn't that what we do?
Yeah.
And then we talk to people and say, man, if you could just, they're big, but if you could make it maybe a little lighter weight, a little more organized, I know you can put valuables, but what about my personal belongings? What about a backpack? What about hydration? What about air tags, accessories? And we sat there and said, well, isn't this the time to actually take Pelican from 1.0, 50 years of built to protect, and now 2.0 is the next 50 years is built to protect, to equip for the mission, and basically we're gonna act like everyone's on a mission. They just don't know it yet. So we're gonna launch travel. So this is, you're in Torrance in our headquarters, and so we're in 2.0 mode. And if you were here a year ago, you'd walk around the corner and you'd say, well, what is this place? And I would often talk about, let's become product centric again. Let's be innovators. Let's understand where we've been, but let's re-energize and reimagine the future. And so I could tell you that a year ago, or I could just bring you here and say, this is the future of Pelican right here. This is the Pelican product pit.
Nice. I don't even know where to start.
Well, let's start with Greek mythology.
Oh boy, okay.
How's that for a what are we, a Thursday morning?
Okay, Greek 101 for Jared, right
So
here.
one of the dynamics that everyone, even if you don't own a Pelican, it's legendary protection, right?
Yes.
But some people will say, well, hold on, is this really Pelican? Because Pelican's like what we just talked about. So Zeus, Greek god, his shield was called Aegis, the Aegis shield, and it was his first line of protection. It wasn't going to stop everything, but it was his first line of protection. So we said, what if we took that Aegis mindset? What's the first line of protection? It's a softer, more versatile, lighter weight protection device.
Yeah.
And so guess what we're doing? We're actually launching Pelican Aegis.
Okay.
And Pelican Aegis, you mentioned it early, said, oh, is this your S collection?
Yeah.
You called it.
I can't say it.
Say it. You can now.
I can? Okay.
Yeah, you can say it.
Your soft cases.
Yes. So he said the S word. We've banned the S word here at Pelican,
Okay.
but this is, you think it's soft, right? And
Yeah.
now just give that a knock.
But yeah, it's definitely hard.
So in the vein of the Greek mythology, fast forward to 2025, we said our insight said, let's look at 3 specific, what we would call features and benefits or unique selling factors for this. So the number one is we've created proprietary Pelican Shield. And it's basically an EVA, and we've fused Cordura material. Cordura is the industry standard for fabrics, whether it's in clothing, it's in travel, and you can choose different choices of 500 denier, 1,000. They do ballistic, they do sustainable, they do colors. So infinite choices with our partner Cordura. And so we created the Pelican Shield, number one. We've also what we call the Pelican patch. You see people want to organize and identify, and you can monogram that, but once you monogram something, it's permanent, which could be cool, and I've still got some monogram things. Or maybe you're going on a trip and you want to identify what's in the bag. If you're a creator, you have 3 camera bags. Up until now, it's typically painter's tape or masking tape and a Sharpie. In future, you can take the Pelican patch, swap out what's in there,
That's what this
and you
was.
can drop it in there.
Okay.
And that's your Pelican patch solution, if you want. And so, if you think about that, this is what the military are the most efficient, effective organization.
Yes.
Because they have to bring a lot of things and travel with a purpose. And so this is positively appropriated from the military, and we worked with them and said, we're going to bring it tomorrow, and they love that solution. This comes out easily, and you can drop whatever you want into the Pelican patch.
That is awesome.
And then inside of these, we said, okay, how do people organize? And I'll be very clear, I think one of our challenges is people are going to get excited about this, but at the same time, it's not for everyone. And I really mean that. We're not being exclusive. We're saying identify what you really want. And if it's protection and organization in a way that you want to travel, we're a solution. If you want lightweight, cheap, cheerful, or fancy luxury, that's not who we are. We're not the back-to-school backpack with 17 zippers and slouched off your kid's back, right? So if you look at some of this, clearly we've got modularity here with anything from, if you're seeing this crossbody shoulder bag dynamic, go to Europe, go to Asia, go to Latin America, everyone's rocking those. There's elements of just protection. What you truly value is right next to you.
Yeah.
And that could be your passport, it could be your sunglasses, it could be your phones. So we're working with all of these mod packs. And then inside of here, what we'll have is solutions that give you the versatility to customize what goes in it. This will be Velcro, so imagine we'll have Velcro AirTag covers. You can just drop Velcro. People are like, oh, well, we'll just have a specific pocket. Make it versatile for you.
Customize.
So Velcro here, and then this is what we're putting a lot of what the military references as MOLLE. MOLLE is modular, lightweight, load-carrying equipment. Think of that for a second. When you see the tactical person, they are so organized with everything they need, and they typically, with carabiners or organization, they need to know in a moment where everything is. So if you think about Pelican Shield, the Pelican patch for identification, versatility here, MOLLE, Velcro, and then we've got the Pelican mod packs, which will actually go into these. There's a MOLLE solution here, mod pack, and by the way, another Pelican patch. These are electronics cords. These are passports. These are what do you need to identify? And some people say, well, that's a little much. You guys, Cordura, Pelican patch, MOLLE. To those that require organization at an exceptional level, protection at an exceptional level, versatility at an exceptional level, Pelican is the choice.
Yeah. What are your goals? Like, why are you guys coming to the Travel Goods Show this year?
For real, if we wanted to launch a travel collection, where better place to launch it than at the travel show?
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, your timing happens to be impeccable because it's when we're launching. And by the way, we synced it up with that. There's actually a calendar we look at. And you know those calendars that show like moments that matter and your milestones? Our major peak milestone is the travel show in March. When the world sees this launched at the travel show, you guys should have a proud moment that you were able to bring innovation and a brand that already is iconic to the show to reveal it to your world. And we get to show up, you know, Trojan horse into the travel show. And when people say, oh, what's new? They typically look at an item or a product or something over in the showcase. They're gonna see a Pelican setup that is the future of travel.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That actually makes it here in the United States, like
absolutely. Well, again, like you know, we talked about it a little bit, but you know, some people gloss over, like, oh, this is where it all started. This is where it all started,
and this is where it's
and
still
so the very first injection molded machine, and then we've added over years. We've got, I think now, up to 25 injection molding from micro cases right through to the largest injection molding machine known. It's a multi-thousand-pound press we call Thor.
Thor. Okay.
Can we go see Thor?
Absolutely. Let's go see Thor. Let's go meet Thor.
Which way do we go? It's right here, right?
Cool?
Okay. Get this man a vest.
Oh, I got my own. Oh, you don't think the general has his own vest?
Do we need a hard hat too? Darn it. Okay.
Cases that last for generations, so durability, and any scrap that we create, excess or otherwise, we regrind it ourselves and put it in here. So we have a closed system of repurpose for a purpose with this regrind material. So, you know, when people say, "Oh, are we sustainable?" Like we actually were doing this, and what we also believe is that good environmental sense makes good economic sense. We paid for this material, so we're going to reuse it, but it also means no scrap leaves this factory, it gets repurposed.
This is one mold, this is a separate mold. We come right here. Can we walk and see how many we can count? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I can stop your count and give you a total.
9. Look at that way though, they just keep going.
So we have 289 active molds in Torrance. And that includes components.
289 different molds.
Correct. But as I said, it includes components.
A lot of folks at the travel show are going to be like, oh my God, this new Pelican brand and they're getting into travel. You can see that we've got 50 years of built to protect engineering, innovation, and solutions. And so just this logical evolution with, you know, yes, an iconic brand, but we kind of know what we're doing here too.
We'd like to take you on the road for a bit, get to know JC a little bit, you know?
One day I hope to be like him, you know what I mean?
Appreciate it.
If you want to just do a fly on the wall here, this is literally a travel briefing meeting. So you can just, if you want, walk through, look around, just get some B-roll there. This is them planning the travel.
That's so cool. Okay. Let's hit the road.
Okay.
We're gonna take a ride.
Awesome.
In our Sprinter van.
It's interesting, the name came when Dave Parker was the founder, and he's with his wife coming back from a dive, and he goes, we gotta start this company and a brand. He's like, let's call it Shark and Whale and, you know, all these like aggressive names. And these two pelicans flew in front of the boat, and she goes, no, call it Pelican, look. And these two pelicans just went right in front of the boat, and she got some kind of picture of these two pelicans, and that became the name and the logo.
Oh, that's why there's two.
Yep.
Okay. So where are you from? Like, where did you grow up?
Oh,
and-
here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like to tell people the simple thing, all you need to know about me is my dad he ended up being a decorated officer in Canada because he was a pilot in the Navy. He was also part of the Air Force, and in the Air Force he was a general. And my mom is this free spirit from Halifax, Nova Scotia, so that's me. Part general, part free spirit, and somewhere in the middle is the JC truth.
So when you were growing up, like, what did you think you wanted to be? Like,
That's a good question. I'll tell you what I didn't want to be. It's not even I didn't want to be. I didn't know what it was. Like if someone said, like, I promise you, I've never said anywhere in any part of my journey or narrative of life that I want to be a CEO.
yeah.
In fact, I would also, and this will sound like maybe a little bit contrived, but I'm kind of the reluctant CEO. I like to build brands. I like to engage. I like to innovate. I love to take things that have potential and reveal it with a team, with an opportunity. And, I had my first real chance, at M&M Mars. Who doesn't love M&Ms? And I worked for them and was part of a team that convinced the Mars brothers, the family that owned it, to sponsor the Olympics with Snickers.
Really?
And so Snickers was different names, like let's make a global brand and go sponsor. And it was supposed to be just an idea, and then it turned into a reality. And that was my first moment where I realized you could have a bold vision, request investment, and then they say, and you now have to deliver it. So I went out and worked the Olympics, and we sponsored it as the official snack food of the Olympics, because Snickers was the original sort of energy power bar back in the early 90s. And I went out there and I learned so much that you could take a simple vision of let's make Snickers global, let's use a platform, let's innovate, let's use the powers of what you have with investment, but also in 3 to 5 years it reimagined Snickers as the global leader, and it worked. It was one of the first billion-dollar snack food brands ever. So
my gosh.
that got me going. And I was also, by the way, at night a musician in London, so I was in bands and stuff. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll play music and eat M&Ms for free, and then go to the Olympics. And then when I was at the Olympics, I met these cool guys from Solomon Skis, and they were talking about what should they do? Should they do more? And I remember talking to George Solomon at one stage, the founder, and saying, George, you should look at not just share of skis, look at the share of the mountain. Like, where's the mountain going to be in 10 years? And I realized that was a bit of, people tell you, oh, well, what's your superpower and your spirit animal? I think mine would be like, I like envisioning where things could be, but then manifesting it through actions and innovation. And so Solomon was a ski company when I joined, and clearly it's a team and a village and everything else. But fast forward to today, it's truly a mountain sports brand made up of different brands, Arc'teryx. We had bonfire snowboarding. We got into trail running, hiking, Nordic skiing. So truly looking at apparel and protective equipment. And that's when I realized you could make an impact with vision, with actionable intent. And brands, by the way, that I'm passionate about. I grew up on the mountain. I loved M&Ms. And then from there, I worked with a bit of a startup called Keen Footwear. It was that toe-protected sandal.
Yeah.
And myself and the founder joined forces. It was kind of like, he was like Doc from Back to the Future, and I was Marty McFly, and we figured out how to hit the clock tower, the Keen clock tower at a certain point, and bam, that thing, that Keen, the toe-protected sandal that could breathe and protect, right? Hybrid.
Yeah.
And it became an iconic sensation. For those that love it a lot. And then I got the call to go and have a talk to the folks at Levi's. And I've been wearing Levi's all my life. I got offered this awesome opportunity to be the brand president of Levi's at a very formative time where reimagining Levi's to not be the worldwide leader in jeans, but a leading lifestyle brand again. And then taking that into not just share of denim, but the share of someone's closet, right? I've never seen your closet, but I know that you spend between 4 and 7% on jeans. You also have belts and t-shirts and underwear and jackets. And so why couldn't we be part of that share of closet with, authentic self-expression, effortless cool for Levi's? So we did that, and it worked. And then that culminated in a big vision again. Remember Olympics? My moment at Levi's was, what about Levi's Stadium? What about a center of culture where the unofficial brand of fans is Levi's jeans? Whether if you go to a concert or a football game or a sports event, you're going to see concert t-shirts or your team's colors, and everyone's wearing a pair of jeans.
Yeah.
So we did Levi Stadium. That's now 10 years ago, and it was one of the biggest investments that Levi's had ever made. It was a 20-year, $220 million deal, and it's been one of the best investments. It literally put Levi's in the center of culture.
Wow.
And so, long story of how I got to where I got to, and then, but always this sort of bigger, bolder vision, but with actionable intent that you could get a team to actually work towards. And then we had Levi's in great shape, and the CEO was a great guy, and he gave me the latitude and the freedom, and he was all pro as a CEO. And then his name was Chip Berg, and then we're about to go public, and then I got a call from the good folks who were going to rebuild Gibson guitars. And remember, I was a musician, so they're like, JC, you want to be on the board of Gibson? I'm like, oh my God, life is complete.
Right.
Like Levi's in California, Gibson board in Nashville, everything's perfect. These guys were unbelievable in terms of their passion for Gibson. So we hit it off, and they asked me to be the CEO. And at first I was like, but I'm at Levi's and we're going good. And then all of a sudden I'm like, one night, maybe after a Jack Daniels from Tennessee, I said, how do you say no to Gibson? A true turnaround. It was bankrupt in 2018.
Really?
And as a musician, and Nashville, and keep going, right? And so I took that on in about 5-6 years ago, 2019, 5 years ago, and we hit the ground running. Went after, guess what? The share of sound, share of mountain, share of so. I announced that the SOS sign went up, and I had a piece of cardboard, and I said, we're going to save our sound, and then it ended up being going after the share of sound, and then we set the stage, pun intended, to bring Gibson back, connected with artists, got into all sorts of dynamics, built the Gibson Garage in Nashville, which is now a top 5 destination for musicians in Nashville, Tennessee, and brought the brand to life through a simple question of, where's the best Gibson experience? And no one could answer it. And I'm like, it's going to be right here, the Gibson Garage. And it's now a live stage, it's retail, it's custom center, right below the headquarters of Gibson in Nashville. So that was 5 years ago. And then all of a sudden, that mission's getting complete. Private equity, they build things up and they want to put it into another team's hands that can take it to yet another place, and investors and that. And so, I had a great chat with the folks and said, okay, I'm going to Lone Ranger onto a new adventure. And these guys from Platinum Private Equity, who are a great group, they own some sports teams. It's a really interesting group right here in LA. And they said, JC, would you ever consider taking on the Pelican Challenge? And I'm like, what is it, a restructure? I'm not a restructuring guy. I'm not a heavy, I'm like a brand. And I didn't know. And they said, no. It's a great brand. It's actually growing. It's profitable. We just think it has so much potential. When I heard the P word, I was like, let me come see. And I did. And I saw what you guys just saw. And I was like, it's got potential. Yeah. And so I joined literally 1 year ago, and loved it. The timing was perfect for my family to move west. There's this pioneering spirit on the West Coast, and you come here and off of 50 years of authentic, earned reputation, iconic status Pelican, we're about to reinforce, re-energize, and reimagine Pelican for the future. I've never been in a position where I haven't been pulled to something. Okay. I was pulled to Salomon, pulled to Keen, pulled to Levi's. And I mean, when I say pulled, in an awesome way, I gravitated to it. We realized the energy and the potential. And so when this mission is accomplished at Pelican, options open up. Yeah. And my dad, the general who was sage advice, didn't know much about business or marketing and all that fancy stuff that we do, but he said, hey, he would get us together and say, boys, don't have a plan B. And we would look at him and he'd say, have 2 plan A's. Just think of that for a second. He goes, why would you compromise as a plan B? Have 2 plan A's. And the way to do that is to keep your options open. Whatever you're doing, if you can't say you're the best at it, or you're leading in it, or you're at least putting every ounce of personal and professional energy into it, don't think about what's next until you do that. And it's kind of good advice, And so I believe, and I fundamentally believe, this is one of my more exciting challenges with Pelican. is, you know, in the next 5 years, I believe we're on the right trajectory to reimagine it, and with that comes opportunity.
If you were on your deathbed and you know, you just needed to give some advice to somebody, like last words, like, so this is short, you know, you're gasping for your last breath.
Yeah, I'm like, please tell me there's a pack of M&Ms.
Yeah.
Tell me that my skis are beside me, my Solomon skis.
Okay.
Make sure I got Keen shoes on, pair of Levi's. Make sure there's a Gibson guitar going on top of me, and make sure I'm in a Pelican case.
Okay. You've thought about this.
I haven't, but that. Don't take yourself too serious, but take what you do seriously, you know, to be known for something, but don't think life happens to you. It should happen with you. And the more you lean in, the more life will give you back what you expect.
That's awesome.
Great wisdom. Yeah. It's a good last breath.
Yeah. Close that Pelican case.
Well, JC, it's been a pleasure.
Awesome, man. Thank you guys.
You've been
Great. Awesome, man.
Thank you
Absolutely,
so much.
man.
Thank you for everything.
Thank
we
you,
look forward
guys.
to seeing you at the show and
gonna be awesome.
highlighting your brand.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Cool.
Thank you.
We'll see you in March in Las Vegas.
Wow, super impressive. Like, I already liked the brand, but now I'm even more excited for what they're coming out with.
Well, I'm excited for me because like their products, like that they're going to release, I don't know how much I can say, are super cool.
You're not going to want to miss what they are releasing. It is, in their line of products, I would say it's pretty disruptive.
Yeah, I would say so. With a brand name that can disrupt.
Yeah. So stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss what they're releasing at the 2025 Travel Goods Show. It is going to be a launch for the ages, so we look forward to seeing you there. So, on to the next.
On to the next.
Let's go.